Today, I want to talk about the gearing system in Godforge, my suggestion on potentially where the game could go as a direction than potentially the way it is going currently in game. If you don't know what we're talking about, don't worry, I'm going to explain the current system in game. And before we go into that, give you a disclaimer that this is Alpha Wave 1. So all the gameplay that we're watching right now could be just a placeholder for what we need in the future. So this could all change anyway, and we're just experiencing something just to play the actual main game, if you want to say it right now. So the current way the gear system works in our good friend Godforge here is kind of similar to Raid Shadow Legends or Dragon Air Silent Gods. You're going to have gear slots on your hero that you can clearly click on different pieces of gear to equip on them, and there's going to be nice set bonuses that you can equip onto them. So if we get 2 pieces of the bear gear, we'll get the defense on there, and obviously we can get a 4-piece bonus giving us 25% extra defense. What you can also do on this game, just like any of those other games, is enhance your gear, and this is using gold at the moment, but this could change in the future. Maybe you get a specific material for enhancing the game, but with my model, which I'm going to suggest, we're not going to have any of that, and you're going to kind of see what I'm talking about in a moment. But currently, if we go and level up these pieces of gear, you'll see if I enhance it, it's going to give me basically some main stat, which is obviously always what it's going to go on. But then at a random choice, it's going to go from 1, 2, and 3, and it will give me a priority stat, which is clearly the speed on this level 10, and then HP and initiative. And if we go to 12, you'll see either speed or HP kind of take the crown, and you'll know exactly what is going to be the main one, which is definitely speed. So we're going to get more speed than HP than initiative. And that's how the leveling and kind of gear system at a base level works in game, because once we've got that piece of gear, we can then go and equip it onto our hero, and we've got both stats in game. Quite self-explanatory, quite easy to follow, especially if you played Raid Shadow Legends and other games like so, right? Now, what is my suggestion though? Because I'm going to be honest, as many people will say, that is too similar to other games, and honestly it is very old school on how it works, especially when you look at stuff like the imprint system, which is very interesting and actually refreshing as a mechanic. Because if you don't know, in Godforge you can equip a weapon to a hero, which will have its own little ability, its stats that it could have. So example, increase all stats by 2%. This one gives us extra divinity when we are placing blaze debuffs. This one is doing single target damage of a maximum HP. This one's increasing all sorts of healing by 30%. So you can see we've got a bunch of different cool actual weapons in game. But what you can do with these weapons, which is very interesting and what makes Godforge really stand out, is the imprint mechanic, because you can now put, as you can kind of see here, these hero passives onto that weapon. So now if I equip this weapon to my Pangu is going to have all these increased stats, plus when an enemy places a debuff on my Pangu, he's going to increase their ultimate divinity cost by an extra 1%. And you can find some crazy combos and do some really cool, interesting things with your weapon, right? But again, when it comes to the gear now, it's too old school. I don't think the gear honestly represents what the direction of this system is. So what I am going to suggest is, why not just let players level up the hero gear slot? So a really good example of this is if I go onto Age of Empires Mobile. On Age of Empires Mobile, I have to level 3 different individual skills on my hero, and the main skill is the main skill. That's kind of his bread and butter. However, my other 2 skills are customizable skills, kind of like a gear slot in our good friend Godforge here. But I am only leveling the skill slot. I'm not leveling each individual skill in game. So I can actually switch between skills, and they're all going to be level 40. And if we bring it into Godforge now, I kind of want that same thing, so that you're able to level up, for example, Pangu's helmet to +6 on the slot, because then I could equip this helmet and it's +6. You know what I mean? I can now click on this helmet and it's +6, and I can keep doing this for all of the different pieces of gear. And I know what you're thinking, okay, that makes sense, but what about now the stat bars? What about this enhanced mechanic and how the game decides what stats are the ones that are rolling? Well, I have a solution for it, and maybe it's a little bit boring, but I do think if you do it in this way, it's going to be a lot more user-friendly, but you can also have a little bit more fun with it. So what I would do is if I go into my helmets, I can look for a helmet as a really good example of this, which is Scaddy's helmet here. So what I would do is if you upgrade the hero slots on your gear, the way gear stats are prioritized from the main stat to the substats is as follows. Obviously, the main stat gets the highest priority. It gets the most stats put into it, as you can imagine, like anywhere else. Your substats cascade down in importance. So your top one, as we see here, initiative in this case, is getting the most amount of stats because it's the highest out of all of the other stats what we can see. If you look at accuracy, it's the second highest stat that's here, and we can see, right, speed is down here at the third slot, or aka the bottom, for my epic gear. And what I think you should be able to do, and obviously this is what makes gear potentially interesting, is if you find gear like this helmet of the Avenger, or if we find like this one, right, which has speed, crit percentage, HP, and attack percentage, or this one, right, maybe I want this accuracy up here. So instead of enhancing gear to level it up, why not just let the player like re-roll the position of these stats? So then I can press this little button here and it's going to re-roll where all of these positions are. And then maybe in the future, you can add in a resource that allows you to say, okay, I got crit percentage at the top, and that's what I want. And I could pay, you know, say 22,000 gold. And if I lock that position, I have to pay an extra special resource that I might have to earn in-game. And I can lock that position and it'll re-roll then just these free. And it allows players over time to work on creating the best in-slot gear that they have on their marches. Because then they're not scared about re-rolling stats. Because guess what? All of the leveling and the legwork to get the, you know, the actual growth of your gears is already done. It's already done in the hero area, right? This hero area. And I think that would be really, really cool to do. Same with maybe weapons, or weapons could be a little bit different because again, in this game, for a weapon, in order to level it up, for example, like this Sonya one, you do need this resource that goes up. So if we find one that we can do, so like this tiffing does use a resource to level up, and then I need another tiff ring, as you can see, to go up to 2 stars, right? So if I do that, boom, it's 2 stars, it breaks through, and I can level it up again, right? And I can do this again. Maybe weapons stay the same like that. It makes sense if you're getting dupes and you're able to put that in there. But yeah, I would love a way for the game to go down a different direction, maybe see if they're able to make it work and make it fun, that you're able to upgrade the hero slots and allow players to re-roll the positions of these main these substats of their gear, because then you can just obviously find some stats on any of these gears that might not be great right now, like this. But guess what? Later down the road, I can re-roll it to have that crit percentage, crit damage, initiative, and defense. So I'm not losing out on that gear. And yeah, sometimes you might get rolls where you get really bad stuff like defense, attack percentage, and crit percentage. But guess what? That's how the cookie crumbles. There's a bunch of different stats in these games, right? And if you don't get the good stats that you don't want, it is what it is. But I'd love the fact that you might be able to do that in this game. So hopefully You guys agree, maybe you guys disagree. Obviously, it's up to you. Obviously, I'm new to these types of games. I do think this could be something that could be looked into, and obviously give Godforge another bit of unique character to it compared to what we currently are using in the alpha wave 1, which is obviously the upgrade mechanic from Raid Shadow Legends, Dragonair, Silent Gods. Like, it's in most of these games that has this, and I'm thinking, if you want to stand out from the crowd, let's try and actually stand out from the crowd for once, right, and go down some different paths. So let me know your thoughts in the suggestion in the comment section down below. Suggest what you would like to see potentially in the gear world, how you'd love gear to work in the game, and all that jazz. So until the next video, smash like, comment, and subscribe. Till then, stay safe, stay sneaky. Peace out.